Well, Wanju Nunukut. Welcome everybody to Dharmaloka in Bulu, Perth. If we haven't met before, my name's Sandra and I'll be tonight's happy host. And tonight's speaker is Mr. Ananda Thilakasiri. Oh, check that out. But before we get to the talk, I'm going to do my usual thing of just jumping ahead with the announcements. And I think the message has got through to keep them brief. So, here is the news. The next 8 Precepts Day at Dharmaloka will be Thursday the 19th of September. All inquiries to Lucky. And Lucky will put her hand in the air and wave and smile. So if you want to come to 8 Precepts, see Lucky. If you would like to do some yoga, you can join Sabrina for yoga at Dharmaloka in the community hall next Saturday, the 21st of September, 3 to 4:45 p.m. in the main hall. And the end of rains and Katina ceremony dates. So Kusala Hermitage are having their end of rain ceremony here at Dharmaloka Community Hall on Sunday the 6th of October at 10 a.m. So they can't have a whole load of guests up there, so they come down here. Bodhinyana's Royal Katina ceremony and Bodhinyana Great Southern Ends of Rain ceremony will be held on the 20th of October at Jhana Grove. Dharmasara's Katina ceremony will be held on the 27th of October. And as always, there are volunteering opportunities. And I bet you all know what they are. So, if you want to help spread the Dharma to the world, there is the opportunity for you to learn new skills in audio-visual, and you can join the Happy AV team. And if you've got any questions, you can ask my friend at the back, who will tell you all about all the things she's learnt about AV. Or you can just simply email av@bswa.org. If you would like to get stuck into the gardening, oh my God! The role has now been filled. I've read this same message out for about 3 or 4 years. Well, congratulations to whoever volunteered to do that. That's wonderful. But our new coordinator will need some gardening volunteers. So join the Happy Gang at events at bswa.org to express your interest. Or you could probably chat to Bill. And you can also talk to Bill, because he is still seeking an architect or builder for design and installation of the new toilets at Dharmaloka. You will be loved by everyone by building new toilets, or at least designing them. So that is the messages. I sound very loud. And the other thing I was going to tell you is that next Saturday we have the Kalyana Friendship Group at 5 o'clock. They've continued to meet all through rains. And next week, we have, next Friday, the 20th, we are celebrating International Bhikkhuni Day. And I'll have my friends from Sakya Dita here. And at this stage, I think we're going to have a poetry evening. Read some poems written by some of the nuns, and just talk about the Dharma. So there'll be a little group of us here. And everyone's welcome, and you're welcome to bring a poem to share. But I will cease warbling on and introduce you to Ananda. And I'll give you a little bit of an intro now so that Ananda can do a smooth transition from meditation to the talk. I don't think Ananda really needs much introduction, but Ananda was born in Sri Lanka into a Buddhist family and frequented the village temple with his grandpa from a very young age. However, he only came to practice meditation after meeting the then Ajahn Jagaro and Ajahn Brahm around 87. So Ananda's been meditating for about 25 years. He considers Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn Brahmali and Bhante Sujato as his spiritual teachers, trainers and guides. He and his family started visiting Bodhinyana and Dharmaloka regularly in 91, and he served as the committee member of BSWA in 96, as the treasurer in 2010, and then more recently as the secretary in 2022. He's contributed to Buddhist communities overseas in various ways and is a student of early Buddhist texts from the Tripitaka, relying mostly on Bhante Sujato's English translations of Sutta on Sutta Central, and also Dharmaloka Sutta classes and Sutta retreats at Jhana Grove. And you have your Sutta discussion group?
Yes.
Yes?
Next Sunday.
On next Sunday?
Next session next Sunday, yes.
Next Sunday, not this weekend.
Not this weekend.
Okay, great.
Sunday.
And I must say that was just incredible the other week, the work that Ajahn Brahmali and it was Bhante Sujato, wasn't it? It translated all of those early Buddhist texts, so that the people of Sri Lanka could reconnect with those early teachings.
Yes, it is called the Pirivena Project. And it is Bhante Sujato's and Ajahn Brahmali's joint initiative.
Yeah, I was so inspired by that.
It was.
So over to you to lead us in a meditation and a lovely Dharma talk, and I'll be back to facilitate the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for that nice introduction and the notices. And to all the Dhamma friends and quite a few known faces, and welcome to everyone on Friday the 13th, the place to be. Okay, so I think without much ado, we'll start the meditation, and we will be doing, I'll give a very short introduction. Don't know whether there are any newcomers to Dhammaloka or to meditation, so I will give a very brief introductory talk, very short, and then we will guide you, and last 10 minutes or so we will meditate in silence. So first of all, I pay my respect. I have already paid my respect to Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and to my teachers, and Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn Brahmali, Bhante Sujato. I'm very grateful, and also to Venerable Vimalanyana Thero, a Sri Lankan monk who resides in Melbourne, teaches in Sinhala. They are my Sutta teachers. So, meditation. Why do we meditate? And if there are any, especially newcomers, Buddha said that we are all in suffering. That's why we are following this path. We are following this Buddhist path to end our suffering. So Buddha said that it's important for us to see what this suffering is first. So it's just like our suffering from ailments. Unless we know what the disease is, we cannot go to the right doctor. So similarly, we have to see what this suffering is. We have to first learn intellectually through reading suttas and listening to Dhamma talks. But Buddha said all that is good, but we have to see from within ourselves. Each individual of us has to see for ourselves what this suffering is. So Buddha said, we cannot see it. Why? Because our minds are cluttered with all these unnecessary things. Through trillions and trillions of lifetimes, going in the samsara, getting born, reborn, getting dying and getting reborn, continuously, our minds are conditioned in such a way that we have come to accept suffering as happiness. It is so stark, so simple, the reason, but we can't see it. We take suffering as happiness We take impermanence as permanence. We take non-self as self. A non-existing self we take as ourselves. So that is the problem. Buddha said to see the problem and to see the answer, we have to have a clear mind. The purpose of meditation is to calm our mind. In the Mahasapura Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 39, this Dhamma talk will be very much based on suttas. And he said, a clear mind, he equated that to a pond on top of a mountain. On top of a mountain, there are no trees or anything to cover. On a clear day, he said, you can see fishes, everything right at the bottom of that lake. So is the mind. After a meditation, after a good meditation, clear meditation, we can see our mind. In a sutta titled Sachitta Sutta 1051 Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha said we must look at our mind regularly, repeatedly, to find out how our mind is, whether they are defiled or not. So that is why we are meditating. The main problem that most of the time we come across is the unending stream of thoughts. So one thing is, when these thoughts come up in our mind, we will not worry about them. We will leave them as they are, as clouds in the sky. Buddha taught to his son Rahula, who became an arahant at the age of, I think, 20, to meditate like earth. He said, when people throw good things, earth is not ecstatic. When people throw very bad things, urine or feces or anything like that, earth is not worried. So the Buddha said, meditate like earth, meditate like sky, unlimited, appamana cheto in Pali. Buddha said, have an unlimited mind when you are meditating. Let thoughts come, but you are not concerned. Why do thoughts come? In a sutta called Sanidana, Sanidana means with a cause. Buddha said, all these thoughts arise due to a cause. What is that cause? All the sensual stimulations in the outside world that comes into our mind. That comes into our mind through our 5 senses. So because we are so much attached to them, these sensual stimulations bug us. So they sort of come and bother us. And one way to improve our meditation is remove or reduce, at least we are lay people, we cannot completely eliminate, at least reduce the veracity of these sensual stimulations. So that way we can reduce these unending thoughts. It will be over a period of time, gradually it will happen. And Buddha has given his guarantee. And in another sutta called Dveha Vitakka Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya number 19, Buddha said, a person, any person who, whatever that a person, I'll better word it properly, whatever that a person repeatedly thinks about and considers would be that person's heart's inclination. So if we are all the time thinking, satisfying our sensual pleasures, then during meditation our mind will be running to that. So with that little introductory talk, and we will catch up the 5 minutes later towards the end, and we will start the guided meditation. Please sit comfortably on a chair, on a cushion, either way is fine. There is no right or wrong place to sit. Any posture is all right. Oh, I better correct it. There is a very important essential posture that Ajahn Brahm says, you can sit anywhere, but have a nice slight smile on your face. Because this is a happy path. This is to end suffering. This is to develop happiness. So we'll start with a slight smile on our face. And what we will do is, Buddha said in a number of sutta, mainly on the Kayagata Sati Sutta, that development of body and awareness of body will take us direct to Nibbana. So we'll start with the body scan, and thereafter, after the body scan, I will stay silent. And this will be a very short body scan. But if we do the proper full body, entire body scan, it can take even up to 20-25 minutes, but this will be about 5-6 minutes. So again, we are now going to start the body scan. We are sitting comfortably. We make a determination, this is my time for meditation, not for anything else. So we'll start from the right foot. That's what I am used to. And right foot, we take our attention, mind, kind attention to the bottom of the right foot. And at the bottom of the right foot, we feel the toes, heel. Very quietly, slowly, mindfully, we come up to the top of the foot, top of the right foot. And then ankles. If there is any niggle, you can move the foot, or better, just be aware of that. And we'll leave them as it is. We'll be kind to that area. How are you kind to our own body? By not trying to change. And so we move along the shin bone towards the knee, right knee. We move along the calf muscle, side muscles, the whole right lower leg, onto the knee. We are moving along the thigh muscles on the upper right leg. Slowly, mindfully, we are becoming aware of the thigh muscles. Onto the right buttock, we can now feel the contact on the cushion or the stool or the chair. So we take a quick look of the whole right leg as one unit. Then shift our attention to the left leg, to the bottom of the left leg, bottom of the toes, the heel, slowly shifting onto the top of the left foot, the ankles. Again, if there is a niggle, we stay for a couple of seconds more. And then we are moving along the shin bone of the left lower leg onto the knee, then the calf muscle, side muscles, along the lower left leg onto the knees. We are moving along the thigh muscles, onto the left buttock, and feel the contact. Now we feel both bottoms sitting on the cushion or the chair. If you need to slightly change, that's fine. And I will slightly cut short it, but will pay full attention. Normally I individual part, break the back part back into smaller parts, but we'll take a quick look at the back and moving along the back onto the shoulders. So relax the shoulders. Relaxing shoulders will help relax the body. And the head, the face, facial muscles. When we have a smile on our face, this will be an intentional slight smile. When the meditation works, some of you will be finding that, or maybe all of you, that when the mind gets calmer, that smile becomes involuntary. Without your effort, you will feel that you are smiling. So we are training the mind and the body to smile. And then the front of the upper body, we have all the body parts. Normally I do the 31 body parts when I do the body scan, but not today. And from the shoulders, the two hands, and feel how we are keeping our hands together. And normally I am used to keeping my right hand on the left hand and fingers touching, the two toes are touching slightly, other fingers, right fingers are on the fingers on the left hand. So that is the body scan, and when the body scan is done, we will feel a relaxed body. The relaxed body will in turn make the mind relaxed. So again, if there is any area which is a bit painful, pay attention. Now, when I meditate, I'll give you 2 words. We can say to that past, may you be well, but that is too long. There is a very short 2 Pali words, Sukhi Hotu. So if anyone can remember Sukhi Hotu, we say Sukhi Hotu, and in Sinhala Swapatveva. And they're very short, but it includes the whole meaning of may you be well, may you be happy, may you be peaceful. All these things in those short words. Okay, now I will be silent, and when the meditation comes to an end, we don't chase after the breath. So we will stay like this in whatever that comes to your mind. Don't chase after those if they are thoughts. Leave them alone. When the breath arises, we will stay with the breath. We will not breathe, but we will wait for the breath and stay with the breath. When I say we will not breathe, we will not intentionally breathe. So we will, for about next 10 minutes, we can meditate in silence, and stillness is the aim. At the end, I will ring the bell 3 times, then we can come out. We are getting closer to the end of this session of meditation. Please don't open your eyes. Take a moment to review the process, how we were at the beginning, before meditating, starting, how now we are. Is the mind peaceful or agitated? If so, what are the causes? Meditation is a conditioned thing, causes and effect. So please take a minute. After the expiry of that minute, I will ring the bell 3 times. On the 3rd sound, we can open our eyes. Hope we had a very nice, peaceful meditation session, and we will start the Dhamma talk now. And if you want to change your posture or anything, and thank you for that nice introduction, Sandra. I forgot to mention at that time, and it's good to see all the known faces and newcomers. And again, welcome. We forgot to say something very quickly, and before I start the Dhamma talk proper, for meditation, there is a very nice, I want to share that with you. I think most of us may have come across the sutta called Bahya Sutta, very cryptic, very short advice Buddha gave to this Venerable Bahya, very shortest Dhamma talk, and he attained Nibbana with that. So what the Buddha said to him was, Bahya, in the seen, only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. In the thought, only the thought. In the known, only the known. This, if you want to see this sutta, it is in the section called Udana, Udana 1, number 10. And what is this? This is the way to reduce our thinking. When we see something, we don't proliferate. That was the detailed meaning of that. There is another sutta with that detailed meaning. So, just seen, only the seen. So we are not taking all that. We will not be in that, we will not be by that, we will not be with that proliferating. So with that little advice, Bahya Sutta, Lucky will do it, because you are doing the... It's okay? Thank you. No, we can do it little later. I'll mention, thank you. Thanks. Sorry. And Dhamma talk today, the theme of the Dhamma talk is called Divine Messengers. And perhaps Sandra may have had a role in picking this. Sandra is the chairperson of the spiritual education group, which is driving this spiritual education here at Dhammaloka. So we will look at how these divine messengers will evolve in this talk. Divine messengers, we can look at it from a number of ways. Metaphorically, we can look at the divine messengers. Then those metaphorical divine messengers can come from outside, that's all right, and or from within, because our experiences. I wouldn't go into detail into all that, because divine messengers, Buddha, to be Prince Siddhartha, he saw an old man, sick man, a dead body, and an ascetic. Those are the divine messengers for him. They became divine messengers. He got the message that this existence is suffering. So therefore, and they were the divine messengers. And we all have these divine messengers. They are the metaphorical divine messengers which tells us, they tell us that this existence is suffering. So if not for those 4 divine messengers, we wouldn't have had a Buddha. And in the sutta titled Mahapadana Sutta, and that's in the Digha Nikaya, number 14, and our Buddha tells us about the past 6 Buddhas. All of them have seen this. It's a very nice sutta, like a very nice story. Very long sutta. And he tells us, our Buddha tells us that all the previous Buddhas have seen these 4 divine messengers. He starts with Buddha Vipassi and ends with him, and about these divine messengers. And that is metaphorical from outside. And then we can see divine messengers through what is happening within us, through our own mind, and by looking at it. And some have turned grief into divine messengers. So, one of the best cases of turning one's own grief into a divine messenger is the account of great Arahant Patachara. Now, this was a young lady, apparently very beautiful young lady, living in Savatthi, where the Buddha's main monastery, where he was living, Anathapindikas. And in one night, without going into details, in one day, she lost her husband, she lost her 2 or 3 year old son, she lost her 1 day old baby. Imagine this is happening to you in the middle of the jungle. She was from a very wealthy family in Savatthi, and then she thought, well, this happened, I will go to my parents, and then got to Savatthi, and then heard that day their parents' house has caught fire. Mother, father, and the brother, they all have died in that fire. 6 people close to her died. How do you take it? And how do you take it? Agitation is not the word to describe such a mind. You go out of your mind. And this lady went out of her mind. She was aimlessly walking in Savatthi. And for some reason, then she was walking naked. Aimlessly, she walked into the Jetavanarama, which is the Buddha, where the Buddha was staying, and she went to the Savatthi. Imagine a monk, Ajahn Brahm, is giving a talk here, and someone walking like that. And it was monks and nuns, and they let her come in. And what did the Buddha say? Buddha said, don't grieve my child. That was don't grieve my child. Don't think about others. Think your own grief and establish mindfulness. So, just to, I don't know whether you have known the Enlightened Times. It has not been published for the last 2 years. Someone very close to me writing as Upasako over those 5 years, 2018 until it was stopped. So Upasako, the one who is writing as Upasako, wrote a couple of years ago Dhamma piece titled Grief. This was written when someone was grieving very badly. So this person, Upasako, is close to me. I have arrange with him to get that Dhamma piece and to distribute to everyone. We will, I think we can, if necessary, we can do it now or we can do it after the talk. Pass it down, okay, all right. And so this is, why I brought that, it is actually Aurora and Lucky helped get this document, and there may not be enough. What we will do is, if there is not enough, we will leave a sheet there and to write name and email address, we can email it to you. So at that time when this was written, Upasako included part of Venerable Great Arahant Patachara's Therigata. Therigata is the stanzas that Arahant beings, monks and nuns, have been telling about how they attain Nibbana. So this was 2 years ago. I had never had the idea that I will be giving a talk here at that time, but it became very useful, and so I thought I will get to Upasako, not I, get to Upasako to produce that document and share with you. So please read it, and when you go home, when you read it, you will find that grief is a human condition common to all of us. So now we have touched on the metaphorical divine beings. So we know that divine beings are divine messengers rather. Divine messengers are actually there. They come to us. And who are these divine messengers? They are the divine beings abiding in various divine abodes. So Buddha said there are 31 planes of existence for beings. And of those 31, 11 are in what is called the sensual world, of which there are 7 good destinations, that is human world, and 6 divine worlds. So that is the 7, and 4 are bad destination in this sensual plane, that is animal realm, ghost realm, asura realm, and Peta world. Those are the 11, and there are 20 other higher Deva worlds. So out of these 31, 26 are divine beings. So we have to know how these divine beings got there. And Buddha has in a sutta, number of sutta, tell us that these divine beings got there in, what is the sutta? I like Mahanama. Mahanama Sutta, whenever I refer to suttas, there are so many suttas titled Mahanama. Mahanama is Buddha's cousin. The Buddha declared him to be the foremost person who is giving finer things to the Sangha. And he is Venerable Giritahan Anuruddha's elder brother. And he went and asked, how should we lay people spend our time? Buddha gave, in that Mahanama Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, book 6, Sutta number 10, he said, whenever we want to calm our mind, there are 6 types of meditation, apart from breath meditation. Reflecting on the Buddha, reflecting on the Dhamma, reflecting on the Sangha, reflecting on one's own virtue, Silanussati, reflecting one's own generosity, Chaganussati, Devanussati, reflecting on the divine beings. So in that sutta, Buddha said, divine beings got to that place because they practice 5 things. And of course, primarily, we practice the Noble Eightfold Paths. Within those Noble Eightfold Path factors, we practice these 5 factors. What are these 5 factors? Saddha, which is faith or confidence. Sila, that is virtue. Saddha, Sila, Sutta, that is learning what we are doing, all are doing. Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Chaga, generosity, and Panya, wisdom. whilst practicing these, our eightfold path, we pay special attention to these 5. In a sutta, primary sutta, that there are 2 primary suttas I will be focusing on. This one, just to mention, Majjhima Nikaya 120, Sankaruppapati Sutta. The English translation, I always rely on Bhante Sujato's, Bhante Bodhi, Bhikkhu Bodhi's translations are great too. Bhante Sujato is simpler and to the point. Yeah. So in that, Bhante Sujato's translation of that title is Rebirth by Intention. Rebirth by Intention. So in that sutta, Buddha tells us we can plan our rebirth. He said not to worry, we can plan our rebirth. How do we plan our rebirth? It's a long sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, but in a nutshell, he said practice those 5 factors. With the Noble Eightfold Path, practice those 5 factors. Faith, ethics, learning, chaga, generosity, and panya, wisdom. Those 5. And then Buddha took us. He said, make a determination where we want to be reborn. If we want to be reborn in a good human family, there are 4 clans in India at that time. Best were considered the Brahmins, those who were spiritual leaders, and the aristocrats, Khattiyas. And if you want to be reborn, Buddha said, make a determination in your mind, and have that as a continuing determination, and practice these 5 factors. What are they? Saddha, Sila, Sutta, Chaga, Panya. Saddha, faith, Saddha, Sila, virtue, Sutta, learning, Chaga, generosity, Panya. So, practicing these 5 factors, Buddha said, then he took us from those great human, good fortune human families to the highest Brahma worlds. He said, you can be reborn into very high Deva world, divine worlds, or to very high Brahma worlds are much higher than the Deva worlds, divine worlds. Any of those, by practicing these 5 factors and making that determination. It doesn't stop there. These 5 factors, at the end of that sutta, Buddha tells us that by practicing these 5 factors, paying attention to these 5 factors, we can, within the Eightfold Path, we can end our suffering. So these 5 factors, not for the rebirth, our intention is to end our suffering, attain Nibbana. But if we cannot do it in this very life, and we have a plan B. So we know that we will be, when we practice this, we know that we can be reborn in a good human family. Or in a Deva world. Buddha was in the Tusita Deva world. That's the 4th highest. First Deva world is called Chatum Maharajika, 4 great kings, then the Tavatimsa, then the Yama, then the Tusita. These are the Pali words, sorry. Happy, joyful gods are the Tusita world. Buddha was in that world before he was reborn as a human. So we can practice in those worlds. We can practice because this will come back to us. This practice will come back there. So we can take a rest there, practice the Dhamma, come back here and finish the work. So what we are going to do in this Dhamma talk, with that focus, we will look at these 5 factors in a little bit detail and see how we can practice these 5 factors and make sure either we will attain Nibbana or we'll make sure that we will not be reborn into a bad destination. That is the most important thing, because that brings me to I just remembered another sutta that we will not go to a bad destination. In a sutta titled Nakasiha Sutta. Nakasiha Sutta, this is in the Sangyukta 20, sutta number 2. Sangyukta 20 is Opamma Sangyukta. That is the name of the Sangyukta. Similes. He said to the monks, Naka is the nail. Siha is head, top of the fingernail. Took some dust from the earth and asked the monks, what is great? The earth, the dust and the sand on this entire earth, or in my fingertip? Monk said, sir, there is no comparison. What is in your fingertip is so small compared to this. Then the Buddha said, monks, those who will be reborn out of this, from this human world, back into human world, forget about the good human families, just back into good human world, reborn, or to Deva world, is just like this much sand compared to all the sand on the earth. The rest of the population is like the sand on the earth. Those who will be reborn back into human world or higher Deva world or any Deva world will be so little. So that brings us the fear of this samsara. Imagine if you get reborn into an animal world. We are going, this is in this samsara. We are going cycle and cycle and cycle, getting reconditioned. This samsara is unending. Anamatagga Vagga, there are 10 sutras in that. You can read it. How long is this? How suffering is this samsara? So let's look at these 5 factors, how we can get reborn. If not, we finish. Okay, first one is Saddha. Saddha is the translation is faith. Ajahn Brahmali says, it's not mere faith, it is reason, faith, and 2 factors. One is, it's a final faith is called, ultimate faith is called avechakprasada samannagato. That is unshakable confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Unshakable confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha is the faith. And we cannot straight away get to that. Gradually we will develop. And that unshakable saddha in the Buddha, Dhamma is the teaching, Sangha is the noble disciples, will arise when we attain Sotapanna, that is the stream entry. With the Sotapanna, we need meditation. We need the sutta knowledge. Ajahn Brahm says, Sotapanna is like a big bang. Ajahn Brahm says, 2 things have to come to have this big bang. In a fireworks display, we need the ammunition and we need the spark. When the ammunition and the spark comes together, bang, big bang. Fetters are broken. The 3 fetters, Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikicca, Silabbata Paramasa, that is identity view, doubt, and adhering to rituals. They are broken. Then one becomes a stream entry. What is the ammunition? Ammunition is the sutta knowledge, what we are discussing now. And the ignition is the samadhi. In a good samadhi, first jhana if we can, at least upachara samadhi, that is just before first jhana. When these come together, big bang. And then one has broken the 3 fetters. So that is the saddha. And in a sutta title, Avijja Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya book 1061, and Buddha says, Saddha arises due to a cause. Buddha gives a very nice list of causes and conditions. He says, Saddha, there is a cause. What is the cause for arising of Saddha? Buddha said, it is listening to Saddhamma. Saddhamma is the true teaching. This is what we are doing now. I am learning, I am listening, we are all listening together, and Saddhamma, listening to the true Dhamma, is the cause for Saddha. What is the cause for listening to the true Dhamma? Is associating good people. Running already, I can say I'm running out of time, so I will limit it and then say there is a sutta called Upadda Sutta in the Samyukta Nikaya 45, number 2. That's the Magga Samyukta. Magga means the path, Noble Eightfold Path Samyukta. And Buddha says it's this whole Buddhist teaching is dependent on this Kalyana Mitta, good friends. Buddha says, take me as your Kalyana Mitta and my disciples, that is the Buddha saying. And then you will be, Buddha gives that guarantee, you will be okay. And then Kalyana Mitta, then listening to the Dhamma, then Saddha. What would the Saddha give rise to? Saddha will give rise to Yoniso Manasikara. Rational thinking. It goes, there are 10, 11 factors, but I'll stop that because Saddha is the focus. And then we have looked at Saddha. Saddha is the faith or the confidence. And I also want to say, okay, when Aviccappasada Samannagato means that unshakable Saddha, there was a Mara, you know, everyone who knows Mara. Mara is the king of the death. He abides in a very high Deva world. He is a very powerful Deva, very powerful being. If when someone is practicing, he will always try to harass Buddha as well, imagine. And there was Buddha appointed various people as foremost. I told you, Patachara, when she became an arahant, practicing the path. And she was Buddha appointed her as the foremost in Bhikkhuni Vinaya, Bhikkhuni rules. So, for various things he appointed. Buddha appointed the person as the foremost among lay people, who is foremost among lay people, who has this Saddha. His name was called Surambhatta. His name was Surang from the place called Bhatta, and he attained arahantship. Buddha gave a talk that all conditions are impermanent, all conditions are suffering, all conditions are non-self. And Buddha, with listening to that and meditating, he became an stream enterer. Then Mara saw this. Mara wanted to change pull him out of. And he wouldn't have understood that once a stream enterer is a stream enterer. So Mara took the disguise of the Buddha, came to this person's house and banged on the door. When the Buddha goes to a place, he knocks very silently 3 times near the door handle. And he took. Surambhatta opened the door and Buddha is standing there. Exact copy. And then he asked, Bhante, why are you here? Then Mara said, Surambhatta, remember I told you that all conditions are impermanent, all conditions are suffering, all conditions are non-self. I made a small mistake. Now Mara is saying, then he is speaking as Buddha, pretending. They are not, all conditions are not impermanent, they are permanent. All conditions are not suffering, they are happiness. All conditions are not non-self, all conditions are self. So I just came to let you know that. So you will be happy knowing that. Then Surambhatta knew who this was. He's a stream enterer. And he said, Mara, I know who you are. Even 1,000 of you come and tell me, I will never change. So that is the Saddha. That is the Saddha. That is the unshakable confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. So with that, I will, next one, Sila. Sila is the virtue we have touched on briefly. And read suttas. Sutta Central is the virtual monastery. Every day it's available. And you don't need teachers, you can teach ourselves. And so, Sila, and for us, for lay people practicing 5 precepts, tick the box. We all know what the 5 precepts are. Not killing, not stealing, not engaging in sexual misconduct, not lying, not taking alcohol or drugs affecting the mind. So these 5, Buddha has praised these 5 precepts. If anyone is keeping these 5 precepts, Buddha said, divine beings will look after you. Divine beings will look after you. And these divine beings, what is the sutta in that? And Anguttara Nikaya book 5, number 42, Sappurisa Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha said, one who is principled, keeping the precepts, and using one's own wealth for the happiness of others. That is chaga, generosity. Those who are practicing these will be looked after by the divine beings. Sappurisa. And he said, when a Sappurisa is born, that is a good person. Sappurisa means good person. When a good person is born to the family, the whole family will be happy, whole community will be happy, and he will be looked after by the divine beings. And now, divine beings, we know so many accounts are there. Ajahn Brahm has told us in his book, there are so many. I wouldn't go into those instances where divine beings have come and looked after. And there was a German monk in Sri Lanka practicing. He has been in Sri Lanka for about probably 40 years. Jnana Vimala. He passed away, considered to be an arahant. He has gone around this country. I think he probably is the only person walking barefoot and around the island 3 times. And he didn't know where he was going. And he didn't know where he will stay. He didn't know where he will get his food. And one day, closer to 12, they have to eat before 12. No village to be seen, no temple to be seen. He was just walking. This is a little booklet I came across, those who were close to him. One page was by Ajahn Brahm. Various monks and those people who looked after have written short articles about this monk, very short booklet. And Ajahn Brahm says, probably about 30 years ago, he has gone to Sri Lanka to visit, I'm not sure whom he was visiting, probably to visit this monk. And he said that was in Ajahn Brahm's little article, 2 pages, I think. He listened to a Dhamma talk. Bhikkhu Bodhi was also there. Maybe that was the purpose. And he said that was the best Dhamma talk he has ever heard. He has ever listened to. And so this monk was walking. He doesn't know where to get the dana now. He has been walking. Every day he walks. Unless he gets to a temple where he will stay 2 or 3 days, rest. And then he was approaching, this is a footpath, he was walking. He could see a middle-aged lady and a girl, little girl, waiting there with some basket. And it was a junction, village, woody area. And as he approached, these 2 bent down and then worshipped this monk and offered that food. And he asked, how did you know I am coming? They were waiting for him at that spot. How did you know? Then they said, one of our relatives, who is a divine being, now came and told us to prepare that food. I'm getting emotional when I remember that story. And this divine being told us to go to that spot. There will be a monk coming offer. Can you see? Divine being. This is a true story. And I don't know whether anyone remember Ajahn Gupta Silo, who was here in Bodhinyana. He left probably 25 years ago. He was a New Zealand white monk. He has written a Dhamma piece on that booklet about this German monk who lived in Sri Lanka in forest hermitages. And so that is how the divine beings will look after. And for 5 precepts, we will not underestimate in number of sutta. Sutta 1412, Pancha Verabhaya Sutta, this is Sangyukta Nikaya 14, Dhatu Sangyukta, sutta number 12, Buddha says, with these 5 precepts, when we practice these 5 precepts, we have given up all these fears. When we practice 5 precepts, when we don't kill, we are compassionate. We are compassionate to the others, like that, all these. So these divine beings, I will tell a very 2 short accounts of very recently what happened. And I think everyone knows Bhante Gunaratana. Most of us know Bhante Gunaratana. 98 years now, still giving Sutta retreats, still giving meditation retreats. 98 years old, a Sri Lankan monk living in America. And this is first-hand account. I'm saying, we don't travel very much. We happen to be, our son is in America. We went to see him a few years ago, and we were in Toronto. So we didn't have much to do. We asked whether is there a Buddhist temple. We were told, yes, Toronto temple. So we contacted them, make it a short story. And he said, there is a retreat going on. Bhante Gunaratana is doing it. So we cancel all our everything else. We have known him here. He conducted a 1-day retreat. That's how we met him. And about 25 years ago. And he is the one who is, he is not well. They didn't tell us what the sickness was. But he is here today. You can come and then you can pay respect and go. We went there. And what was the sickness? Bhante Gunaratana, during the retreat, this is in a forestry area, he went for a walk with an attendant person on a footpath. And then he got chest pains. And then he has told the attendant, I think it's a sign of heart problem. So he sat down. This is a woody area away from main road. So he sat there. This attendant, of course, would have had a mobile phone. He called the ambulance. And then the ambulance people said, yes, in a minute or so we are on the way, but we can't get to the place where you are. We will have to carry the stretcher. It will take some time walking. If you can arrange to bring the monk to the place, to the main road, end of this footpath, it will be quicker. So he was, how can he carry this? Monk is sitting. And now when we went, how we heard the story was, okay, I will first tell the story. And then he saw a man riding a bicycle. I have never seen such a thing. Pulling a trailer, fairly long trailer, with about 5 feet long, where a man can lie down. And then that man and Bhante Gunaratana's attendant lifted Bhante onto that trailer. He rode the bicycle. As the ambulance was reaching there, they were there. So how imagine that very time, this man coming with that cycle, on that cycle with the trailer. And he was taken to the hospital 3 days prior to that. And 3 or 2 days prior to that. And they have operated him immediately. They had to operate him on immediately. And when we saw him, his the tag that the hospital putting was on his hand. He has said, I am teaching a retreat. I have to leave now. Doctors have said, no way. He said, no, I am leaving. So he had to sign that form that I am leaving on my own accord. 2 days after the operation, he left. He was there. So he insisted that we have our lunch also with him. With respect, we didn't have plans, so that was one. And one incident. And another incident, very first hand. I think I will say that if there is time. Can we go 5 minutes later? Yeah? Everyone is happy? I will say this as well. There is a very nice another sutta I want to mention. But before that, this is where a divine being came to the rescue. And first-hand information, this happened in a woody area in a third world country and around 3 o'clock in the morning. Cutting a long story short, and he was riding a very close person to me. He was riding a 75cc scooter. What time? 2:45 in the morning. Why was he going at that time without he had the opportunity to stay at two places. His wife was expecting their firstborn. And this was a long time ago. And as he stopped, after he stopped at the last lamppost, because next 8 miles, about 12 kilometers, completely forest, he has to ride. And he didn't have, lights were not working, he had a torch. He stopped there, and just to make sure that everything is okay. As he stopped, 2 hefty men came running to him. 2 bandits came and stood in front of him. He says he almost died when these 2 fellows came. Because he has heard that on that same area, later on only he heard that, man's body was found in a waterhole for the Yamaha motorcycle. And so he thought, finish. Now the road is like this, and road was curving. This took only a minute. That bend got illuminated. Completely got illuminated. A man was walking, dressed in white, small-made man, was walking carrying a reed bag. In Sinhala we call it pangmalla, bag made out of reed, and a big grass torch, huluwatta, and waving that, he is coming towards me. And the whole area got illuminated. Because the whole area got illuminated, these 2 also looked back. They saw this man coming, there was a culvert there. This is how this person, very close to me, explained the story. And those 2 went and sat on that. And he says, he kick-started the scooter. He says that scooter always needs 2 or 3 times kicks. But this time, just one go, it started, took off. And later on, he realized when he read this Sutta 542, it says, when a good person is born to a family, and when someone is practicing, divine beings will look after you. That person's child was to be born. That child has also been frequenting this place and has been on the Buddhist Society committee, has been a vice president of the Buddhist Society, and then she has recently told her father, when this story was first mentioned to her, I don't know what would have happened to me if you died. So that time he realized, good person was going to be born. So the person was riding because he wanted to be with his wife who was pregnant. And divine beings came and helped. So that is a true story. And another sutta that I want to tell you about ethics, sila, is sutta called Sedaka Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya 47, number 19. Samyutta Nikaya 47 is Satipatthana Samyutta. And then in this one, Buddha said, monks, there were 2 bamboo pole acrobats. Bamboo pole acrobats. It would love to go into detail how they performed it. It's mentioned in that sutta, you can read it. And the main acrobat and the apprentice. Apprentice name was Meda Kathalika. That is frying pan. Actually, the meaning is frying pan. So I can see why that name was given to her. And the Meda Kathalika, and the acrobat told her apprentice, Meda Kathalika, you look after me, I will look after you. This has happened a long time ago, and that way we can each look after us and then collect our fee and we can go. And then this Meda Kathalika, very gutsy woman, she told the tutor, tutor, you are wrong. How we can look after each other is, you look after yourself, I will look after myself. That way we can look after each other. So Buddha said, monks, that apprentice was correct. We have to look after us, we have to look after others. Buddha said, how do we look after others, us? By practicing four applications of mindfulness, Satipatthana. Buddha said, practice these 4 applications of mindfulness. Develop, cultivate, and practice meditation. That way, we will look after ourselves. And And by practicing, how do we look after others? We look after others. Buddha gave 4 ways. I'll just say English words. I have to think of that. By acceptance and patience, first one. By harmlessness, second one. Kantiya. Then mind imbued with loving kindness. And then anudayata is empathy. Anudayata is Pali word, empathy. By practicing those 4, we can look after others. So that way we look after ourselves, we look after others. So the main message that Buddha gave was, our territory is this 4 applications of mindfulness, not 4 foundations, 4 applications. Ajahn Brahmali proved here that it is 4 applications of mindfulness. And by practicing 4 applications of mindfulness, we look after. He said that is our territory, practitioners, monks and lay people. There is a nice story about the monkey who got caught by straying out of his territory. And sensual pleasures are like these, like a monk getting caught to a hunter's trap. But if there is time, I'll tell that as well later. But we have covered that. Now, third one is Sutta. Sutta is learning. Buddha has given so much, and this learning is very important in supporting conditions for our freedom. Called Anuggahita Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya book 5, number 25. Buddha said 5 conditions are there to support our path to freedom. What are those 5? Sila, that is ethics. Sila, this learning, the Saddha, Sila, Sakacca, which is discussion, ethics, learning, discussion, Samatha, that is the serenity meditation, and Vipassana, that is seeing things as they are. So these 5, learning and discussion, 2 of the most important things for our freedom. So we have to learn. Imagine the amount of things that Buddha has discoursed for our benefit. I just thought I will mention 2 things. Mahamangala Sutta, greatest blessings. Ajahn Brahmali has given a very fine English simple translation. We have produced that here as well, and I think Lucky may have already distributed, or it may be on the table, English translation of that. And also, there are 38 blessings in that sutta. Very simple sutta, stanzas, 38 blessings. If we practice just that, what is in that sutta, I think we are assured of practicing these 5 factors. And the other one is Parabhava Sutta. Why I picked these 2 to mention? Both these suttas, Buddha discoursed them in response to, we are talking about divine beings, in response to requests by divine beings. 2 divine beings at 2 different occasions came to the Buddha, and they are in the Sutta Nipata. Mahamangala Sutta is in the Sutta Nipata 2, book 2, number 6, I think, number 604, and Parabhava Sutta, which is the openings to the disaster. First one is the blessings, 38. Then in this one, Buddha tells us 12 ways to go down. What not to do, 12 things not to do, 38 things to do. Okay, so that is, I'm running out of time. That is about Saddha, Sila, Sutta. Chaga is generosity. We have to practice generosity. We saw that in that sutta, Sappurisa Sutta, one who practices the 5 precepts and uses his wealth for the benefit of others will be looked after. This world is shrouded in poverty. In third world countries, there are so many very, very utterly poor. How you don't know how they got to that stage to pass year 12 to go to medical school. It's like in Sri Lanka, very difficult in countries like Sri Lanka, India, Burma, those countries. And there are organizations that offer scholarships to these poor children. So we have to loosen our purse strings and then practice generosity. And no point in living in luxury life when the whole world is in poverty. That doesn't feel right. So Chaga is the generosity, and again I am running short of time, and so I will stop that. I have number of sutta to quote on this Chaga. Very first sutta, I better mention at least this, with your permission, Sandra. I'll go a couple of minutes over time, thank you. And okay, great. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the very first sutta that Buddha gave at Migadaya Isipatani. And this was the sutta that Buddha gave the 4 noble truths and the noble eightfold path. And Buddha said, in this sutta, Buddha gave 4 ways of gaining freedom. Here, 4 ways of gaining freedom. What are those 4? Chaga? Anyone? Second? Patinissagga? Mutti Analaya. Very good. Chaga is the very first one. Chaga is the generosity. So practice generosity. That is the starting point of everything. Sila, in a sutta called Bhikkhu Sutta 47, again Satipatthana Sangyukta number 3, Buddha said starting point of everything is Sila and right view. Of course, right view. Next one is the talking about right view. And those 4 starting point is Chaga in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, rolling forth of the wheel of the Dhamma, which no one can turn back. From 2,600 years, from India to Australia, all over the world, that wheel is turning. So it is alive, Dhamma is alive. We are discussing the Dhamma. So that is about the Chaga, starting point. And then last one is Panya, of course the right view. What is the Panya? Knowledge. Opposite of Panya is Avijja, ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing. Panya is knowing. What is that knowledge? Knowing of what? Knowing of 4 noble truths. That the first noble truth of suffering, second noble truth of cause of suffering, that is, first one is this existence is suffering. There is no self here. 5 things, 5 aggregates. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Form, feelings, perceptions, choices, or mental formations. Either way, Bhante Sujato likes the word choices. That is Chetana also, intention. And then the Vijnana, consciousness. These 5 are loosely held 5 aspects. What is? By a process. These 5 things are held by a process called, what is that process? Dependent origination. Paticca is holding us. Why? We have the craving to go in this samsara because we have so many unattained things to finish. So we are going. Paticca. And so it's about 8:54. I will probably... Thank you very much. And then I will stop here now and open for any questions. And I think this is open for any questions. And I picked this, I connected this to divine beings, to this way of giving the talk. During the sutta, we are doing sutta discussions. Our theme has been right view. And then 3 members, actually 1 member is here, and other one rang and said they couldn't make it, and they said, can we discuss about rebirth? So last discussion group, we discussed Mahatanha Sankaya Sutta, halfway, that this Buddha discusses the whole thing about rebirth, how all that happens. And then I thought, they asked, how can we get to the last class? They asked, how can we get a good rebirth? Well, I thought, there is an answer. I gave the 5 factors at the Sutta discussion group last Sunday and said, we'll discuss it today. So that's the end of it. And so I will say pay 3 sadhus to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and to my teachers, Ajahn Brahm, Ajahn Brahmali, Bhante Sujato, and Venerable Vimalanyana. 3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu.
And thank you for listening. And any questions will be very welcome.
So remind me of the term for love of the Dharma. Is it Dharma Chanda?
Dhammachanda, yes.
Your Dharma Chanda is so bright. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for sharing the stories of Bhante Gunaratna.
Thank you. It's a true story.
Yes,
We were there, right there.
And he is still giving talks because...
He's still giving talks. He gave a talk 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
By Zoom.
Yeah.
On that Sutta Central project.
Mm.
98. Small man.
He certainly doesn't look 98.
So please ask
amazing.
a question. And Buddha said, ask question. That is in the Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 135. Only those who ask questions will
Learning
be
and
intelligent
discussion,
in the next life.
One of the 5.
So please ask anything, anything, any Dhamma question.
Has anyone got a question?
Eddie has got a question. Yeah?
Okay.
Anyone else? Please think
Keep
of
it quick. I don't mean to be bossy.
You always telling me to be quick, yeah. Ananda, you talk about divine beings, no? Are they actually devas?
Devas.
Oh.
They are the devas. Divine worlds means deva worlds, Eddie.
Yeah.
And there are 26 deva worlds. 26 altogether.
Yeah.
And so we can be reborn there if we practice these 5 factors without, with the Eightfold Path and by making a determination.
Yeah. So what you say is true. You know that you said in the Sutta, in the scriptures, that the devas come to the aid of practitioners. No, they come to help practitioners.
Do.
Yeah. And do you, like the statue here, you know, do you find any connection, like a power or anything?
I'm not sure because of the statue, but this place is a powerful place because very good monks have meditated here. This place has the vibes, good vibes, and you feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah.
And maybe they was come here and listen to when Ajahn Brahm comes and gives Dhamma talks, Ajahn Brahmali, Bhante Sujato. And they do. If you will feel, you will have that feeling. Well, when you meditate, even at your own home, you will have that feeling.
Yeah. The reason I ask you is, I find, you know, like each time I have a problem, I come here, and I find it helps me a lot, you know. So I was talking to Ajahn Brahm, you know. He says, absolutely, you know. Yes. You know, in the statue here, inside the statue, there are relics.
There are relics.
Buddhist relics. That's why I remember when it was opening ceremony, there are Buddhist relics there. I find there's power here.
Yes.
Thank you for the good talk, I think.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
You like to? Any other questions? No? All are happy?
You know, I was up at
there is a question there.
Dharmasara this morning, and I was looking at Venerable Vimuti's beautiful face.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Venerable Vimuti is Ananda's daughter. And I went to her ordination, and oh my goodness, that was the most beautiful, heart-touching experience. Truly incredible. Like she she did all of her chants like an angel.
Thank you, Ananda, for the talk, beautiful talk. It's amazing your knowledge in the sutra. I know you are a great fan of Sutta Central. Why do you recommend Sutta Central to others?
Thank you for that question, Namita. Yes, I recommend Sutta Central to others because Buddha's word, without any errors, without any mistakes, in simple language, it is there. It is there, Buddha's word, in 38 languages at the moment. I follow it in English because Bhante Sujato's translations are so simple. If you want, you can go to Bhikkhu Bodhi's translations. And they are very good. He is the first one whose translations were there. And then Bhante Sujato's. And the other thing is why I recommend Sutta Central is we can read it anytime, just the phone. And I replaced my phone just before the Sutta group started. My old phone was not picking up properly Sutta Central. So we can read. While here we can read. And on Sutta Central, on the phone you can read. So it's because we can listen to monks, but sometimes they will add their own little things. Here we read the suttas without any additions, without any deletions, just the Buddha's word. And just for the benefit of, thank you for that question, because I will give a little bit of more details. These sutta are Buddha's word. It was orally transmitted until they were written on palm leaves in Sri Lanka 2,200 years ago about. And they are arranged in 5 baskets. Because I was referring to Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, they are in 5 baskets. Main 5 baskets are longer discourses. Digha Nikaya, there are 34 suttas in that, very long. Then next one is Majjhima Nikaya, middle length discourses, 152 suttas. I referred to that. And then next biggest collection, 2 biggest collections are Samyutta Nikaya, is the connected discourses. Eddie asked about the divine beings. The first 2 Samyuktas are all about divine beings, Deva. It's called Devata Samyukta. 111 suttas in those 2 Samyukta, 111, all about divine beings. And in every other sutta also they feature. So many. And that is linked discourses because they are linked. Means in one Samyukta you will find all connected. For example, first one is Devata Samyukta, all about divine beings, Deva. Third one is Kosala Samyukta, all about King Kosala. Like that. Number 47 is Satipatthana Samyukta, all about Satipatthana. Just like that. So that is the Samyutta Nikaya. Anguttara Nikaya is the numerical. If there are 3 things, it will be in the number 3 Samyukta. Anguttara Nikaya book. There are 11 books. Now last one, 11 one has the, what I will just say, Metta Sahagata Sutta. There are 11 benefits of practicing loving kindness. You can find them in the Anguttara Nikaya book 11. Yeah. So like that, 11. And the last one is Kuddaka Nikaya, minor discourses, but this Kuddaka Nikaya has so many. Sutta Nipata is in that one. Mahamangala Sutta is in that one. Ratana Sutta is that one. Loving Kindness Sutta, Karnimetta Sutta is in that one. Parabhava Sutta is in that one. Vasala Sutta is in that one. All that in that one. So that's about, thanks for the opportunity to explain that. Thanks, Samita.
Yep, and if you're feeling bewildered and can't remember your Pitakas from the Nikayas, the wonderful thing about Sutta Central is the search function.
Search function, yes, search function. And also we will put, last time actually it was Sandra who prompted me to write the suttas that I quoted from memory. I haven't got, I just said from the memory. You remember you told me why not put it in the comments in the recording?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I will do it this time as well.
Yeah, that would be really good.
You will find them in there.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
A quick question, Eddie, because...
Sorry.
No, that's all
You're
right.
talking about devas, okay? The the realms 26, yeah. It is said, Ananda, what do you think, no? That we are in the 5th plane, okay? There's devas down here too. The devas on the 6th, 7th, 8th plane, they're nearer to us. They can come to help us, no? But how about the further ones? No, is it?
Well, further ones will come to very great beings. Remember, when the Buddha was awakened, he was thinking that this world is full of deluded people. This Dhamma is very deep. They will not understand. So Buddha thought, why should I, trouble myself by trying to give this deep message to people who are deluded? And I will just relax and meditate. Then the Brahma Sahampati from the topmost Deva world, Brahma world, came to the Buddha and requested, please sir, there are people with little dust in their eyes. That was the word. And please teach the Dhamma. So they will come depending on the person whom they are coming to.
I'll talk to you afterwards personally. Because now I think,
Any other questions?
We'll hold all the other questions
So
for after.
Yes.
But I would like to say thank you. And we've got a little gift for you.
Thank you very much.
And it would bring so much joy to my heart, and I'm sure everyone else's heart, if we could chant the refuges together.
We certainly can.
Let's do that.
3 refuges and
the,
5 precepts.
Arahant.
Arahant Samma Sambuddha. Okay, yes. So let's chant Arahant Samma Sambuddha.
Well, first of all, we'll give Ananda a big sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Because he's put a lot of effort into this. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Arahant
Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivadami Swakato Bhagavato Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangam Namami.
So, if anyone has any questions, you are welcome. And I also like to again mention about the Sutta discussion group. And it's on next Sunday at 3 o'clock here, right here.
That Sutta project is the flip taker.